Hola a todos, yo soy Ari Dosset, yo me llamo Rashid y estoy ahora en el Reino de España. So I'll just greet you all in Spanish because I'm in Spain at the moment and I'm just walking around doing this live stream. It's evening, the sun is setting, but hey, still light, so I thought when I go outside. Can you all hear me clearly? Let me know, please. Let me know if you can hear me clearly, please, so that I can change the sound settings when necessary. By the way, I'm near the highway over here, as you can see. The street lights already on. And from time to time, there's an airplane landing, so you may hear that too. But hey, it's a bad setup for now. I'll just use my loud voice when necessary. Can you all hear me clearly? Please answer the live chat. Thank you very much. All right. Now, I'm going right into the topic, okay? A lot of you have a mental liability you need to unlearn. You do. And I'm going to address liability whether you like it or not. I'm going to throw it in your face. And many of you have a liability that kind of angers me because you should know better by now. Now, what's a liability? Too many of you continue to do what's right when you know you should be doing what's best. This place is completely dry. I know what the heck it is, but let me repeat it one more time. Too many of you keep doing what's right while you know you should be doing what's best. That is a liability many of you have. By the way, I'm going to turn in one of those streets, so it's going to be a little bit away from the roads. So, because near the hotel over there, a lot of people screaming and shouting all of that, so I don't want to have that in the background. But understand, this liability of keep doing what's right, even when you know it's time to do what's best, this is why so many of you remain in danger. And eventually, you end up endangering others too. Because that's what happens when you persist in malfunction. When you persist in malfunction, your malfunction will become the harm on other people. Anytime you choose to malfunction, it's actually neglect. If you malfunction because you don't know any better or because you're mentally ill and you need help, that's different. Then the community owes you education and help you out. Simple as that. If you don't know any better, if you're mentally ill and you need help and people don't give you help, it's on the community when you malfunction. Nobody should blame you. If they address you, you don't comply with justice, it's something different. But if you're not even aware you're malfunctioning and people just blame you, it's on the community for being so retarded and dumb, okay? But too many of you are malfunctioning on purpose. Because doing what's best implies facing how bad the situation really is. Not facing how dysfunctional you've been all along. But you have to do that. Now, let me give you an example from the Old Testament. So I'm going to use a biblical example for you. All right? Samuel, he was a judge of the nation of Israel. At that time, there was no central government over the Israelites. The Israelites were a confederacy. Each tribe had their own leaders in councils. And the Levites presided over them, and the Levites managed the councils of the Israelites. And the Heavenly Father, from time to time, would appoint a judge to judge in the affairs of the Israelites. That's how it went. Oh yes, I think I'll go in right over there for a moment. So, well, at some point, Samuel was an old man. His two sons were corrupt. So what did the public do? The public sent their leaders to Samuel saying, appoint a king over us, that he may judge us and rule over us. Hold on. And till now, God did not appoint anyone to rule over the Israelites. What does it mean to rule over someone? To have final decisions over them. Now, no human being has the final decision over anyone because then we're not God. But simply rulership means you decide whether something is important or not, and you decide what people ought to be doing or not. That's ruling over people. At this point, God only appointed judge over them to direct them into the right direction and to the further away from the bad actions. God never appointed anyone to rule over the Israelites. And anytime the Israelites were being disobedient to Heavenly Father, they put themselves at risk. And guess what? Other nations, whether it were the Egyptians or the Philistines or the Midianites or the Syrians, anyone nearby attempted to rule over them. So God never appointed anyone to ever rule over the Israelites. The Israelites had natural autonomy, guaranteed by the Heavenly Father. The only thing they got were guidelines to benefit them. So societies around them, they had toxic restrictions enforced by tyrants. Let me repeat it one more time. The nations around them had toxic restrictions enforced by tyrants, what they had. And the Israelites had guidelines given by the Father to guarantee their natural autonomy. So Samuel was conflicted, thinking, what the heck are these people asking? Do they want to follow the way of the Egyptians, the loose booty thing? Do they want to introduce sexual exploitation as a norm? What the heck's wrong with these people? You know what the Heavenly Father did? The Heavenly Father calmed Samuel down and told Samuel, listen to what the people are saying. Do as I told you, because don't take it personal. It's not on you. It's me that rejected, so that I won't rule over them. So let me give an example. Let me give a parable now. Let's say now you come at home and you see your mom is FaceTiming with some guy. And you think, what the heck is this guy? But then you ask your mom, I saw you FaceTime with this guy over there. She said, oh, it's just a colleague from work. You felt like it's not a colleague because they were kind of a bit too intimate the way they were talking. But it's okay. I just brush it off. Then a few times keep catching her same time with this guy. Now you've figured out right, okay, well, that goes on over here. Then you go to your father and tell dad, mom is cheating on you. Mom is doing this and that. And you show your father receipts of, okay, she's been sitting time the guy over here. She's been doing this and that. And you're very upset with your mother. And then your father tells you, you know what, son, or you know what, daughter, okay, what your mom is doing is wrong, but don't take it personal on you. She wants to get rid of me. That's why she's talking to that other guy. So, okay, what she's doing is also harmful towards you. Should we consider you too? Okay, but if she wants a divorce, she should ask for a divorce and take responsibility for it. But it shouldn't be cheating on me, harming her own family. But the father tells you, listen, it's me she wants to get rid of. It's me she has issues with. And now she's affecting you with her neglectful behavior. Well, this in a similar way, the Israelites were doing with the prophet Samuel. The Israelites did not want to comply with justice. The Israelites just wanted to escape all the time. And here's the issue. You cannot continue to escape with the Heavenly Father because the Heavenly Father is going to call you out on it. Simple as that. The Heavenly Father will call you out on it if you keep on escaping. So, that's why the Israelites eventually thought, you know what? If we had a tyrant exploiting us, just like all the other nations, we would have an excuse for normal functioning. We would have an excuse if we cheat on our wives or cheat on our husbands. We would have an excuse if we neglect our children. We would have an excuse if we don't include the loner over there. We would have an excuse to just escape all the time. Why? Because we're being oppressed by these tyrants. The Israelites wanted victimhood as an excuse so they don't have to face themselves. That's what they wanted. So they wanted a victimizer to give them an excuse so they don't have to face themselves. Okay, listen to what I'm saying here. The Israelites want to use victimhood to build themselves out of being responsible. This is what they wanted. So they preferred a tyrant to victimize them. They want a fatal figure over them to victimize them and exploit them. so that they had an excuse when they malfunctioned. Because when you have righteous, holy people above you, guiding you, and you malfunction, there's no excuse possible. It's going to be you, it's going to look bad on you, and it's going to haunt you. But if you have a tyrant above you, you can always divert the blame away to the tyrant. And that's what the Israelites were doing. And that's why then Father told Samuel, I know it's very hard on you what people are doing now, but don't take it personal. It's not really against you, it's me they have an issue with. So now let me give another example. And this is about the United States of America. And this is a bit of sensitive topic. I'm going to address it anyway. In the United States of America, there's the civil rights movement going on amongst African Americans. Because for a long time, they had no civil rights. Okay? Eventually, African Americans obtained civil rights. They did. Now, what should have happened then was a reconstruction, a reforming of the American economy so that blacks, whites, everyone was included in a harmonious way. But the black Americans who contributed to the build of the United States should have gotten a priority because they were the ones who were fighting. And anytime the African Americans would build their own economic center, it would be burned down by angry, jealous racists. So, historically speaking, the African Americans should have gotten a priority treatment, rightfully so. What happened was the United States government opened its borders widely to a lot of migrants from Asia. But hold on a minute. Did those migrants of Asia and their ancestors build the United States? No, they didn't. They did not. Absolutely not. So, why did the Asian migrants who became Asian Americans, why were they so favored and why did they receive so much pampering? Because guess what? A lot of the Asian Americans, not all of them, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them came with criminality, came with their Chinese mafia, with the Asian gangs. Yes, the Asian Americans brought a lot of crime to the United States too. Out of control crime even. Just look up in the 1970s, 1980s, how out of control it was. See what I mean? Look it up. But they were still being pampered and favored. Why? Because the United States still had this anti-black racism they wanted to keep in force. So, to keep the black Americans down, they could not suppress them through by withholding civil rights anymore, because they got civil rights. Now, they were making things economically hard on them by allowing all these migrants from Asia to come in with criminal money and establish themselves in the United States. And because of that, it would be a hinder for black folks in America to establish themselves. It was a racist policy enforced. But it wasn't done directly against the black Americans, but it was done indirectly to their disadvantage. So any Asian who came as a migrant to the United States of America, it was that the United States really loved them or cared about them. It was that they just wanted to hinder the black folks. That's why they gave them the preferential treatment. You follow me? In a similar way, you need to see it like this. Now I'm going back to you as a believer. When the public around you, not just individuals easy to recognize. When the public around you acts stupid, two things you have to remember. First, it's against God they have an issue. Okay? It's God they have an issue with. Because God doesn't take their narcissistic escapism. Secondly, they may have an issue with you, because just like God, you won't put up with their narcissistic escapism. You call them out. You want justice. So understand, people may not always act out against you directly, especially if it makes them look bad, but they will do things indirectly. For example, let's say, because this happened to a fellow believer, okay, and it's quite disturbing. Let's say you open your new clothing brand, okay? You're a believer, you and your wife, or you and your husband, if you're a female believer. Anyway, you as a believing couple, you open your new clothing line. You're sexually healthy. And remember, sexuality first. So without sexual health, there's no prosperity. So you, believing couple, together you're sexually healthy, and you decided to have an economic impact on the community. You start your own clothing line. That's a good move. I really appreciate that. Now, Let's say now your spouse or your family-in-law hears about this, and first say congratulations, well done. But guess what? They never buy any of your shirts or any of your shoes, nothing. But then you see one of your brother-in-laws. You have a brother-in-law. You see him walking around with a shirt that's assigned by a gang, because you have gangs who have clothing lines in your country. Okay, at least that's the case in Britain, also I believe also United States of America. You have gangs who have clothing lines, and now your brother-in-law is wearing a shirt printed by a gang who worships the Baphomet. So that brother-in-law has spent money, and not little money, because that shirt was expensive. He used money he earns by working 9 to 5, because this brother-in-law has a 9 to 5. Okay, he earns money with a 9 to 5. He spent money that he sweated to earn on a Baphomet company, while you, with your spouse, a believing couple, are there to benefit the community. What does this say about this brother-in-law? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know in the live chat right now. What does it say about the brother-in-law? You, together with your spouse, a believing couple, sexually healthy, there to benefit the community according to God's will. You start your clothing brand because you really want to have a new, clean financial flow in the community. And then you have a brother-in-law who says they're happy for you, but he spends money buying a product from a Baphomet gang. What does it say about his brother-in-law? Let me know in the live chat right now. What does it say about the brother-in-law? Let me know. Just answer me in the live chat. What does it say about his brother-in-law? Let me know now. I still need to see your answers. Okay, the fact you are not the participant that quickly shows your sense of topic. Hey, sense of topic means okay. Sense of topic needs to be addressed. What does it say about his brother-in-law? I'm gonna wait 1 more minute to get your answers. Okay, I got one answer, one more answer. So what does it say about his brother-in-law? He carries a shirt produced by a Baphomet company. The Baphomet, who's there to keep people sexually exhausted, sexually confused. He sponsors a company that's dedicated to a demon that wants to keep the public in sexual misfortune. And from sexual misfortune, you have all the evils in the community. While he has you as a married family member with a blessed business over there, also producing clothes, much better clothes even. Okay, still not many answers, but anyway, one more question then, and I hope you guys answer this one. Can you trust this brother-in-law? Just one simple question. Can you trust this brother-in-law? Let me know. Maybe it's a StreamYard malfunctioning. I don't see all your answers, but I hope to get more answers from you also. So if you haven't answered the previous question, because it was also sent it for you, at least I want you to answer this one. Can you trust this brother-in-law? No. You cannot. Because he has an issue with you being better off. He has an issue with you and your wife or you and your husband being better off. He is miserable because he wants to escape all the time, something that will always end up wrong. And because you and your wife or you and your husband are becoming better and are doing well, it makes him look bad. He's a grown individual, so like you two are. So why is he not doing better? So there's no excuse anymore. You two doing better in life makes him look bad. So he now cannot tell you, man, aren't you guys losers like me? Why aren't you guys just fucking up like me? Why do you guys have to be better off? So now I need to make effort too. He's not going to say it openly to your face that he wants you guys to fail and be miserable just like he is. He won't do that. But he will also openly attack you because that will also make him look bad. But he will just not comply with your prosperity by either ignoring your prosperity like it doesn't exist or by supporting things that go against your prosperity, like buying a shirt from a above-mid company. Now, let me give another example. And this example maybe a bit sensitive to a little bit. Okay, let's say you have a female. Okay, she's 25 years old, and she keeps complaining about how doggish many of the men are that she encounters. Okay, but then you tell her, listen, Lisa, I keep complaining about how doggish the men are, but the men you've been with are all men who are quite low lives. But you went to university. Many of the men you started with university, they own their own business or don't have high-paying jobs. So you were around quality men. So how come you keep complaining about how bad the men are while you were around quality men for a big portion of your life? How is that possible? That if you only had doggish men around you your whole life, then that would be different. But you had quality men around you. How come you never ended up dating one of those quality men? How come you always end up with men you end up complaining about? Let's say you confront her about this, and she admits, you know what, maybe I need to work on myself. But then next week, you see she's with another low-life man again. Question to you: what is your response now to this woman? What will you do about this woman now? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know. I'm curious what you would do about this woman now. If you missed it, listen. You have this woman, let's call it Lisa, 25. She's complaining how doggish the men are. But then you confront her. You had quality men around you all the time when you were in college, and also before that. How come you never noticed any of their qualities? But you always keep complaining about those men that you don't want to be with. And she tells you, you're right, I need to work on myself. But then you see her with a low-life man again the next week. What will your response be toward this woman? Let me know in the live chat right now. Oh, yes, ladies. Oh, my God, ladies. I'm glad with your answers. Oh, I'm glad with your answers, ladies. Absolutely. Distance yourself. You're not going to confront her, explode in her face, confront her how she's bullshitting. No. Distance yourself. She is just like those damn Israelites who were complaining against Moses all the time. She's just like those stupid Israelites who insist on having a human tyrant to victimize them. She's just like those people who said to Pilate, crucify him and give us Barabbas. That's the same way she is. She prefers predictable misery so she can use that to escape facing herself, becoming a better and safer woman. That's what she's doing. So she is on purpose putting both herself and the community in harm's way. She's also put the community in harm's way. She should never get any sympathy or any pat on the back, and nobody should feel sorry for her if she ends up getting hurt by those men that she chooses to entertain. While there are many good quality options around. Simple as that. But what happens often amongst believers, especially believers with a church background? We continue to feel sorry for people who don't feel sorry about harming us. Okay. We continue to feel sorry for people who don't feel sorry at all for harming us. Listen, if someone is deeply broken and they need long-term therapy, okay, you can't expect them to be better within just 1, 2, 3 days. Come on. If someone has been deeply wounded, it will take a little while for them to recover. Absolutely. So you have to give them space to recover also. You can't expect someone to be hit by a car today and 2 days later chopping around on a trampoline again. No. It takes a little bit of time. Same way psychologically. Someone cannot be brutalized and abused during their childhood, and so now they're adults within just 2 years, expect them to be all there. No. So give people space to recover. But the moment you notice people don't care about becoming better and safer, they just insist on escaping no matter what. The moment you notice that, don't lose it on them. Don't become apathetic, like I don't care about you anymore, because becoming cold will harm you. Becoming cold towards other people harm you and other relationships in your life. You can't get away being cold towards a human being and get away with it. No. What you do is you de-invest emotionally for that individual. That's what you do. You de-invest from that, you divest, I say, from that individual. But too many believers, they remain invested with people who couldn't give shit about them being alive tomorrow. If someone insists on escaping, while they know very well, because it's proof in the face that their escapism is not solving anything, and they still keep escaping, they don't even cry out for help and don't even take help seriously when it's offered them. That individual is a portal of misfortune, and that individual should be treated as if they are an evil spirit. They have to be avoided. And you know what? A lot of believers are failing in this. A lot of believers keep failing over and over again. Okay, having compassion on other people is good. Having sympathy, pity, and all that has a place. What you also should be doing is admitting what you're dealing with. Okay, God is love, that's true. And you walk in love. Are they walking in love? Do they love God? No. If they don't walk in love and they don't love God, they don't even love themselves, they are bringing themselves and everyone to hell with them. I'm sorry, but you have to, you still walk, you still have a loving attitude towards them, but you can't walk in love with them. The walking in love with, you need to let it go because it's not possible. You can have a loving attitude towards them as you should, but you cannot walk in love with them. See what I mean? So we need to stop doing what's right when the community becomes blunt in violating us. I made a very short video about this, but I thought maybe let me do a whole live stream about it. When the community gets used to, gets comfortable violating you, by either neglecting you or by blaming everything on you, you know what you do? You stop doing the right thing. They give you their ass a kiss it, and then you get out of there. That's it. They gave you their ass a kiss it, and then you're out of there. Stop being proud. Oh, I don't take this. I have boundaries. I have morals. I have ethics. I have value. I have self-respect. Stop all that crap. It's only going to hurt you. Kiss their ass. That means give them back their fairy tale and walk away. Simple as that. That's what you need to do. If you would do this, you would be out of trouble very quickly. The reason why so many believers are in trouble over and over again is because they keep doing what's right, and by doing that, they make this worse on themselves, and they also begin to harm others indirectly. Let's say you have a parent, okay, whether it's your mom or your dad, and your parents always resentful towards you. Why keeping so invested in the parent if the parent is all about just shitting on you all the time? Even your own children say, Mom, Dad, why is grandma treating you that way? I once heard a 6-year-old asking her mother, Mom, does grandma love you? Even a 6-year-old girl could see that her grandmother was acting off towards her mother. And the grown woman in her 40s didn't see it. The 6-year-old could see, whoa, the way grandma's acting is not proper. But the 40-year-old woman couldn't see it. She needed her child, a 6-year-old, to confront her. Does grandma love you? Look, if you mess up your child, and now as a grown individual, your child has issue with you, so be it. You did mess up your child by being neglected and all of that. You can't expect them to just forget all about it because now you want to do better. And that's another thing. If you've been a contribution to harm, you can't just stop contributing to harm and expect everyone to treat you like a hero. No, you're not a hero. You did contribute to harm, and the harm you contribute to is still around. Now, it's good to become better, but you can't expect a standing ovation because you're doing better after years of doing wrong. You've known for years you should do better, but you didn't. So if you've been the neglected factor, harm the community, don't just do good here and there to build yourself out. No, you still have to account as long as you live for all the wrong you've done that you're not doing anymore. Simple as that. That's reality. If you were a neglectful party and now you want to do good just so people can shut up, sorry, that's narcissistic. People have a right to call out your past and how you affected the community. And then you can tell them, yes, I did affect the community the wrong way, but now I rectify doing better. Okay? People have a right to call you out, simple as that. But here's the thing. Your parent Parents blaming their children. There's no way you can blame your child. Your child never affected you. I mean, your child came after you. A, a child can blame the parent, rightfully so in many cases. They shouldn't stick in blaming the parent, but they should blame the parent if the parent is wrong. I mean, that's another thing with a lot of you. You think it was all you. It was all you. It was not all you. If you speak English as a native language, it's because the people around you shift English into you. It's not all on you. If you end up going to university, it is because of the social structure around you that enables you to do that. How come when things end up wrong with you is all on you? Stop doing that. If others affect you the wrong way, admit they affect you the wrong way. And then the responsibility, I want to be better. See what I mean? Don't just take and blame them. If they are to blame, they are to blame. But don't just blame them. Also want to be better. But you have to admit when others violated you or neglected you. You have to admit that. That's realistic. So let's say now, let's say now your parent blames you for not facing themselves. Should you continue to try to make it up with this parent? No. At some point, you need to draw the line. Hold on a minute. Mom, Dad, now is enough. I'm not going to take your resentful bullshit anymore. I'm not going to take the blame because you didn't face yourself in life and did better. I'm not going to take the blame for you keeping yourself in bad situations that you should have gotten out of. It's not my fault Dad treats you that way. It's not my fault you chose to have sex with Mom and have babies, Dad. Listen, it's time for you to start facing your damn self, start blaming me, and to use me as a trash can because you guys don't want to face this. Because there are many other adults you should face, but you don't do it. So stop being a coward at my expense. See what I mean? There comes a point you have to say, okay, I need to do what's best. Keep this parent at a distance, keep him or her away from my children. Yes, I know my children want to have grandparents, but for their own. But I'm not going to say I'm going to keep my children away completely from my parents, but I'm going to limit the contact my grandparents have for my children, for their sake also. Simple as that. Look, if the community did you wrong long term, and suddenly they stop doing you wrong long term, the only reason suddenly stop doing it because it makes them look bad. So now suddenly they treat you well or they avoid you just to make them appear good. No, you have to fucking call them out. No, long term you guys been avoiding and neglecting me, right? How come suddenly all you guys are so kind towards me? Or suddenly you guys act like nothing happened? Oh, no. You guys have to admit things and comply with justice. If you've been ignoring and neglecting me for years, you have to make room for me, treat me as an honorable individual, and make space for me in your affairs and be with it. You're not going to just feel uncomfortable. You don't want to feel guilty, give a few kisses here and there, and we all have to forget about it. No, I have to deal with the consequence of how you guys treated me. I had no choice. So why can you guys be built up like that? And this is what I want you to understand. If you as an individual would decide to put community aside just to exploit your some sexual loss or some financial loss, every type of selfish endeavor you have, nobody's going to take it. If you decide, I don't care about traffic rules tonight, I'm just going to put that aside and just have a race event with my friends. Okay, heavy drinking and racing. Or I'm not going to do it on the road to hurt other people. No, we're going to do it somewhere else. If you would decide, I'm going to put the law of the land, or I'm going to put taxes aside, I'm going to put the community aside right now, just do whatever I want, whatever suits me, you're either arrested and you're put in prison, or if you're not arrested because you didn't break the law, people are not going to take from you and they're going to take action against you. You're going to be blacklisted, and sometimes you're going to be persecuted or killed. If you decide to treat the community as an option, the community is going to let you know, you can't do this as an option. What would actually think you are? Why then is it okay for the community to treat you as an option? Why can the community treat you as an option, but you can't do the same towards them? Why is it okay for people to ignore you or write you off anytime it suits them, but they do expect you to consider them unconditionally? It shouldn't be like that. That's the narcissistic escapism of fallen mankind. It's all right when we escape and neglect other people and cause harm onto them. It's always an excuse. We always have a good reason for doing it. But God forbid if you ever put in your mind to ever treat us as a disposable option. If you would ever treat the community as a disposable option, or some people in the community, my goodness, you'll either be arrested and put in prison, or you will have a very hard life, or your life even end. Simple as that. Sold on. So the community builds a police force. The community builds prisons. They especially pay taxes to finance the prisons and the police. The prisons and the police are there to shut you down anytime you decide to treat the community as an option. Okay? And especially to pay for it. So Donovan, the community has a backup, namely police and prisons, to get rid of you in a legal way, in case they feel like they feel hurt, you hurt their feelings by not giving in to them. That's what it comes down to. You do anything. It doesn't have to be murder or rape, anything grievous. Do anything, whether it's trespassing on private property, or whether it's just tricking people to donate to you, whatever. Do anything people consider deceptive or hurtful, and they'll use the law against you, take action against you. Simple as that. They file lawsuits at you, whether it's civil lawsuit, criminal lawsuit, whatever. So the community has prisons built, police force out there, just in case people like you decide to treat them as an option. And you have to pay for it. So you have to pay taxes to finance the police that can shut you down when the community feels hurt by you. But the same community that expects you to finance police with taxes are the same community who thinks they have a right to dispose of you anytime they want. Do you think this adds up? Do you think this adds up? That you are expected to pay for your own removal, just in case? But the people that expect you to pay can decide to dispose you anytime they want? If you're okay with this, you're mentally gone. Simple as that. If the community expects something from you, you should also be able to expect something in return. You should be reciprocity over here. Look, if the community decides to ignore you and treat you like you're a weirdo, while they have actual weirdos harming them around, that means they just want a victim to look down upon, to feel better about themselves. They're narcissists. That's all they are. For them to admit they did you wrong, they have to look at themselves and realize we're not reliable human beings. They don't want to do this. So they just want to avoid you, so they're not confronted with themselves. Or if they can't ignore you, they're going to find a way to blame you, whatever. They will always find some dumb excuse why it's okay for them to neglect you, not include you, or to take advantage of you, or dismiss your feelings and your well-being. If you would do this, any of that towards anyone from the community, you'd be either in prison, or you would be homeless, or you'll be dead, or worse, because people would explode on you. And that's why society hates real believers, because believers are like this. If you decide to treat us as a disposable option, we will put repercussions on you as a community, and you will end up having to work in our favor whether you want it or not. And that's going to look humiliating on the whole community, and that on the rest something they can't escape. Believers are the only ones who are able to keep the community in check without using violence. We can keep the community in check without using violence. Pagans use tricks on the masses, but the tricks are limited. So that's why the society has no problem with pagans. But believers, once we learn how to walk in power, we can force people to invite us to parties. We can force people to say happy birthday to us. We can force people to consider us. We can force people to consider our humanity. And let me tell you, once you are a believer walking in power, eventually people realize, shit, we can't ignore this guy. We can't pretend like shit's not there. We can't overlook him, because every time we do, it's going to end up bad for us. For example, let's say you're a young man, okay? 22 years old. You're sexually healthy, and you're there for the community. And you have a bunch of women acting like you're not around. Give attention to all those weirdos over there who don't make anything true. Every time any woman doesn't honor your sexual health, anytime a woman does that, they, even if you don't put any precautions on them, they will pay for it with sexual misfortune long term. I guarantee you. If you are a young male believer, sexually healthy, okay, and there are other women not honoring your sexual health, Honoring your sexual doesn't mean they all jump on your dick and have sex with you. Honoring your sexual health means they get along with you, they entrust themselves to you as a little bro or big brother, and they actually expect you to care for them. Yes, them expect you to look after them is also a form of honor, because that's what you're supposed to do as a man. If the women around you don't honor your sexual health as a believer, I guarantee you, the fact they're doing that is treason towards the Heavenly Father, is treason to our human species. The Heavenly Father is not going to take it, and evil spirits are activated against them. Any of those women will either end up taking advantage of you just to get sympathy, or they ignore it like you don't exist. You don't even have to be upset with them. They will reap sexual misfortune. Either they end up as single mothers, or they end up with a man that's sex starving them, or they end up with a guy that's very hyper emotional. They're fighting all the time, or they end up being used by multiple men and dumped in the streets. They will all reap sexual misfortune. They all will. Same way, if you're a woman and you're sexually healthy, and the man not willing to even look after you as their sister, guess what? They end up with Jezebels running all over them. Because the fact you're a sexually healthy woman and they refuse to honor and look after you, that shows that they want an abomination. So if they insist on abomination, God will give them an abomination. And now they're complaining that, oh, that so many women are hoes, so many women are bad. Well, duh. That's what you guys wanted, right? You guys love hoes, right? You guys love Jezebels, right? Well, now you have a bunch of Jezebels. Some of your daughters end up as Jezebels now, embarrassing you. But that's what you wanted, right? Well, God gave you over to your stupid desire. You got the dumb shit you wanted. Because the healthy, sexually healthy women that were around, you neglected them. So God gave you over to the bullshit. That you should have never wanted the bullshit, but you sit on the bullshit. God gave you over to the bullshit, and now the bullshit is harming you. Now suddenly you're the victim. Get the hell out of here. Come on now. Mhm. So understand, God is not striving with the stupid wills of fallen mankind. He's not. God will at some point hand you over to the stupid shit you cling on to. God at some point will hand you over to the untamed lusts you're striving for. God will do it. Why? So that proof becomes that you were the one who was self-destructive all along. It won't be on God nor on the believer. Simple as that. So if God at some point hands people over to self-destruction, because it's the best thing to do, why are we bailing people out over and over again at our own detriment? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with bailing people out. We should care and be concerned with other people, especially people who are self-destructive. Just because someone is a reprobate or a bad individual doesn't mean we have a right to act like they're not human. They're still human, okay? We don't have a right to dehumanize anyone. They dehumanize themselves openly by being so reprobate. They're the ones who dehumanize themselves, but we're not going to help them dehumanize themselves, okay? But just because we don't dehumanize them doesn't mean we can fully embrace them as a human. Because if they dehumanize themselves, that means we can't fully embrace them as human because they're not acting like humans, they act like semi-demons. So we have to some extent, treat them as like they're semi-demons. You see what I mean? Look, we have to stop putting ourselves at risk for doing the right thing. Learn to do what's best. If the people around you think it's okay to narcissistically exploit you and get away with it, if people think they have a right to be negative because they have so-called free will, if people think they have a right to will whatever they will, if they think they have a right to be nasty, they have a right to be neglectful towards you, if they think they have a right to demand one-sided loyalty from you, if they think they have a right to be narcissistic without any repercussions, that means they're highly delusional. That means they're dangerous to be around. So you hand them over to their delusion. Kiss that ass and walk away. Simple as that. Just do it. Kiss that damn ass and just walk away. Jesus did this. The people from Gadara, they should be the ones who turned on themselves and suicided themselves as community. But Jesus let the demons go into the swine, and the swine ended up suicide themselves in the lake. It should have been the public turning on one another and suicide themselves as community. So Jesus spared them from their own destruction. They would have got it on them. And what did people do? Act a fig like Jesus was bothering them. So Jesus kissed their ass and just walked away. That's what Jesus did. The same thing you should do. Stop doing the right thing when the right thing obviously will not work out well. Amen? Yes. Are there any questions about this topic? About it? Go near the roads now, walk backwards hotel, so it's going to be a bit noisy. So I thought, okay, I can end the live stream right now. So first, are there any questions? Oh, by the way, this Amazon headquarters, not this is Amazon. Is it Amazon headquarters? I don't know. But anyway, you can see it's Amazon down behind me over there. Entrada, entrance. Yep, it's Amazon. Yep. Are there any questions about this topic? Let me know now. There's another airplane going down. I'm sure you can see it. Yeah, it's going down now. God is good. Listen, we don't humanize people. Not even not even they're dehumanizing themselves. Okay. If people dehumanize themselves, we're not going to have. We're not going to do it towards them. What the heck is that? If someone is suicidal, are going to assist them kill themselves? No, you wouldn't. You're going to keep a distance from them and force them to look for help or quarantine them if necessary. See what I mean? The same we have to do with these people when the public becomes delusional. Quarantine them in their own bullshit. Simple as that. All right. Let's see if any questions. All right. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for listening to the live stream. Please practice what I'm teaching here. I'll see you all next time. Shalom. God is good all the time.